Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that as you kind of grow older, we forget to take perspective of what the world looks like from somebody that's just, growing older, maybe four, maybe 14, 24. We forget what it is like because we have figured out everything and so if we have a conversation, sometimes somebody's giving us advice, we're like, yep, I can do that. And so if we have a conversation with our children who are just learning the rules of the world, once is not enough, right? And yeah, conversations happening multiple times, but also knowing that different conversations may be needed at different times. And coming back to a lot of the points, again, I think even having conversations, it changes with context. So what may be helpful when they're 4 years old may not be helpful when they're 14. I think one of the biggest things that I have experienced as a parent and as a professional is that nothing remains the same. And, you know, that there needs to be flexibility in everything that you're kind of doing when it comes to even the language that you use with our children. Um, and the biggest thing is that behavior change doesn't happen in one day, right? So you may be teaching your kid how to communicate, I want help and I want a break. And you have gone through this with them for 5 months. And you're thinking, okay, Sahar was wrong. This isn't helping. But it's not a one day thing. They're navigating a very complex world based on so many things that are happening to them, with them, by them. And I think it is difficult. And so knowing that it will click one day, but also it may change the next day. And as a parent, you might think, okay, so many times, like when is my breaking point? When do I say I can't have this conversation? And so by just being true to yourself that you may not have this conversation for the next 5 days, for example, right? Or you may not work on that skill for the next 5 days, and then you start over. But just knowing two things that, if the skill or the conversation or the point that you're trying to have with your child is, if it's not working, it is that it's not that they just don't have the skill or you don't have the skill. It's just that it takes time.